The first is actually at York. So it's the medical school that's shared with the University of Hull, so the Hull York Medical School. I think it's just a really refreshing setup. Their commitment to access. Medicine is a subject that is typically a high tariff subject, and much of the thinking reflects that. And I think at York we've got a medical school that's really committed to educating doctors, whatever their background, and we've got a set of paths into the degree which don't rely on tariff. I think the other example, I worked at the University of Liverpool before, earlier in my career. I was involved in the university planning around an agenda for the Liverpool City region, the combined authority, and I find it very inspiring. I went back to see what had happened about 10 years after that effort, and it's still recognisably the same agenda. The university has developed some strengths to really drive that agenda and has benefited from that. And the city has really developed and is investing, say, around areas of the economy which can drive a successful future for Liverpool. I would put a great premium on the most senior leadership. So I think the organisation tends to mimic the approach of the senior leader. So I think if the senior leader is collaborative, that has a huge impact on everyone else. So I think we have an example from the Vice-Chancellor at York. He is a collaborative individual. I think he does the things to build trust in the senior team, and I think that infuses itself through the organisation. So I would be very keen that they follow through on the devolution agenda. I think it could be hugely powerful for York and North Yorkshire and for the University of York if there was increasing powers in the mayoral authority, and we could figure out, within York, what the city can be really good at and what can drive the development of the city, and what the university can contribute to. I think there's fundamentally a strong demand for international students from international students for the sort of education that we provide in the UK. So I think if we did some basic things about being welcoming and enabling, through the visa regime, and if the universities promoted themselves properly, I think we can fill that demand. And I think the words of Bridget Phillipson were welcome, because that's what it sounded like to me. Unless there's some shock, I don't think that's going to change overnight. But we've probably passed the peak of Chinese students coming to the UK. So there is great demand from other countries, but I think the wealth of those countries is not at the level of China currently. So we're going to have to think very carefully and creatively about how we can meet that need, and meeting that need probably doesn't involve students coming at the same volume for 3 years to come and study in the UK. And so maybe in terms of cost, there are options where the students prepare in their home country for a couple of years and then maybe come for 1 year. So I think we're going to have to think much more flexibly about the value that we add compared to the cost to the student. I remember an open day we had at another previous institution, and I sort of, partly tongue-in-cheek, but I said the important things in universities hadn't changed in 500 years, and that's the human interaction. It's the inspiration of people by other people. It's the leaps of discovery by people, and I think the core of the universities of the Mission of York will remain that. So I think the way that we focus the talent of the academic staff within a professionalised structure of support, I think will have to change. amazing, talented academic staff spending more of their effort inspiring students and making creative leaps is good for everyone. And if we can get our systems in a smoother kind of state around them, that will enable that. So I this is not the popular visionary answer, but I don't think the universities will change that much fundamentally. I think there'll just be a sharpening up around the key things that where we add value. We've been through a period, like many universities, of putting our finances on an even keel, so we need to finish that off, and then we need to establish the ways of working and drawing on the opportunities that the university can meet to get into a way of operating that aligns our ambition with our resources in a way that's sustainable, so that we can steer clear of some of the challenges around funding that have been prominent in the last period.